Hey, what's up guys, this is Thiago, and today's video is gonna be a little bit different of what I've been doing here. This won't be a tutorial. I recorded it because I wanted to share with you guys the progress that I made on learning a program language and how powerful it is to use Python to automate your DWG files. For those of you who are not aware of it yet, I've been learning Python for almost 2 years now. And not only that, but data engineering, data science, and data analysis. I've made a huge advance on those subjects through some personal and some courses projects. And if you're interested on those, I invite you to visit my GitHub profile. I left the link for it on this video description. Now let's talk about this project. Some time ago I was provoked by a good friend of mine, Fabio, when in one of our conversations we were talking about AI and how we could take advantage of it to maybe automate some repetitive tasks in AutoCAD, like drawing structural elements for instance. Well, I thought that would be an awesome opportunity for a personal project. I didn't use AI, but Python and AutoCAD, controlling it through its COM API that I had to learn from scratch by reading its documentation. By the way, let me show you a little bit of it so you can have a picture of how much I had to study to get this thing running. And I controlled all of these commands by a Python script I have written. Let me show it here. And this is not finished yet. I have to clean it all and correct some bugs I left behind, and after that I'll have to develop a graphical user interface because meanwhile I just developed this terminal menus to test my solution. Alright, that's enough talking. Let me jump on AutoCAD so I can show you it working. What I have here is an architectural drawing that I use to plan some structural members like pillars and piles. But first things first, one of the most painful and time-consuming tasks to make when you get others drawing is to get rid of all the unwanted layers, like these tiles here or those furniture, bath and kitchen equipment. That was my first idea when I started to developing my solution. So let me run this assistant that I've developed. And here we get to this main menu. And I will start by cleaning unwanted layers. It lists the layers being used in this drawing, then I select ones whose elements are going to be erased from this drawing by typing them here and hit enter. And just like that, those objects have already been erased, and I have the option of purging those layers and blocks. I'll go ahead and purge all of them. And just like that, all of this task is done. How cool is that? I wish I had known that forever. That would have saved me a lot of time. Now let's draw some structural elements. Before adding elements to this top view here, as the distance between pillars are asymmetrical, let me leave it there standing for a while so I can show you how one can take advantage of this assistant on symmetrical buildings, like these rectangular warehouses and this circular kiosk, for example. Okay, let me start by this one here. I'm going back to my assistant and I'll choose to draw a rectangular section. Then it asks me if I want to create a new layer. I'm gonna say yes, that I want to create it. Then it asks for a name. I'm gonna set it to pillars. Then asks for a color. I'm gonna insert one, which is red color. And the line weight, I'm gonna enter 50, which stands for 0.5 millimeters. Then I'm gonna select the insertion point, and back to assistant, it asks for the pillar's dimension. First, the base dimension, I'm gonna set it to 0.15. Then its height, which is 0.25, and finally it asks me if I want to fill the section. I'm gonna say yes. Then it asks me if I wanted to propagate the section. I'm gonna say yes, because I want to make a rectangular array of it, so the pillars are gonna be evenly distributed on that area. Rectangular propagation, number of lines 3, distance between them, it's gonna be 4 meters. Number of columns, it's gonna be 4, is spaced 4 meters, and the angle of inclination, since it's not inclined, I'm gonna enter 1 here and insert 0, and that's ready. As you can see, all of the pillars were inserted evenly spaced. Moving on, I'll take advantage of this building, and let's say under these pillars we have to project some piles. Then I'm gonna go back to the assistant and I'll start a new drawing section. This time it is gonna be circular, and it asks me if I want to create a new layer. I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, and I'll name it piles. The number of color is gonna be 4. I'm gonna make it cyan. The line weight is gonna be 0.5 millimeters. I'm gonna insert the reference point. The section diameter will be 0.5 meters. I'm gonna propagate it. Rectangular array. And the number of lines and the space between them. Number of columns, space, and I'm gonna insert the angle of propagation, which is gonna be 0, and that's done. All of the piles were inserted. But let me turn the line weight here so we can actually see the line thicknesses. And there you have it. Okay, now let me move on to this next building here, where I'm gonna perform this next demonstration. Sometimes we face a situation where we have this inclined building, to which we also have to insert pillars and propagate them all of that area. since I have a layer I want to use already created, I don't need to insert a new one. I just select the pillars layers I've just created. Then I'll select the insertion point and the section dimensions. I'm gonna make it square this time, 0.2 by 0.2 meters. I wanna fill this section. Then I'm gonna propagate it and insert again a rectangular array. The number of lines is gonna be 3, evenly spaced by 3 meters. And the number of columns is gonna be 4, evenly spaced. The distance between them is gonna be 3 as well. Now here, when it asks me the angle of propagation, I'm going to select 0 here because I want to select the points of reference in AutoCAD. I'm going to select this first one here and the last one, the other extremity. And there you have it. Let me show you this circular kiosk. For this one, I want to draw a circular section and propagate it around the circle, so it's gonna be a polar array. Then first I'll draw it by selecting the option 3. It's gonna be a circular section. I'm gonna use the pillars layer, and on AutoCAD I'm going to select a point of reference. Let me set this quadrant here. Then ask me for the diameter of the section. It's gonna be 0.25 meters. I'm gonna propagate it, but this time it's gonna be a polar propagation. Then I have to select the center of propagation. Enter the number of copies. I'm gonna hit 6, and the filling angle is gonna be 360 degrees. And done. As you can see here, all of the pillars are set in the right place. Now moving back to the first top view. As you can see here, the distance between pillars are not always the same. Another aspect here is that I don't have insertion points already established in this top view, and I don't really want to insert all of them manually by finding the midpoint of all of those walls. That would be time consuming. The final aspect I'd like to consider here is that I'd like to draw this pillar inside the walls, keeping a distance from its face to the walls, as if you were considering a finishing cover thickness. And I developed a solution special tailored to overcome those 3 challenges. Solving the asymmetry of the distance between pillars by entering 1 by 1 manually, adding a configuration to set the cover thickness, and placing an insertion point out of the borders of the pillar coinciding with the wall's edge. Then let me run this solution so you can understand it better. To run it, I'll type here the option 8. Then it asks for its base dimension. It's gonna be 0.1. Its height is gonna be 0.15. It asks me whether I want to insert a finishing coverage or not. Then I'll go ahead and say yes. Option number 1. Then it asks me the coverage thickness. And the reference insertion point. Then it asks me for a text height, which is the height that I'm gonna use to tag the pillars afterwards. And the final process I'm gonna show you. Then I'll add all of the pillars by selecting the insertion points. As you can see, it added smoothly considering the coverage that I explained. I'm gonna select another one here. I'll get a note of it. I'm gonna insert some more of them, not all, just some more, so I can show you a final demonstration for tagging all of them. This one here, then I'm gonna get this insertion point here. Another one right here. This one there. Maybe one here, and let me add just another one. Right. And this node here. Alright, all of them are inserted. Just like that. Now, having all of them in place, the final thing I'm gonna do here is to add tags for all of the pillars. So I'll go back to the assistant. And now select option 10 and select all pillars in the order I want to enumerate all of them. I'll select them by the reading order, so from the top left to the bottom right. Then I hit enter. I see all of them selected here. I'm gonna confirm this command. It listed all of them again, and that's done. As you can see, all of them are enumerated, following the order I selected them. And that's all I have for today's video, guys. And if you watched it so far, leaving your comment telling me if you have ever used this kind of automation, or if you ever had to mix different pieces of knowledge to come up with an innovative idea or solution. And if you like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe, give it your thumbs up, and hit the bell button so you are notified whenever a new video is released. And share it with somebody who you think may enjoy it as well. See you next time, have a good one.